what we're going to do today is we're going to work out of the interactive reader. We've worked out of the interactive reader before. I'll pass them out in just a few moments, but before I do, what we're going to do is we're going to take a test. We're going to use the remote control to take a test. And this might be about questions that you don't have any idea what the answers are, but it's going to give us an idea where you are at the beginning of the lesson and where you end up at the end of the lesson, okay? Sandra Cisneros wrote the award-winning... When I pass out the interactive readers, we're going to begin reading a passage together, but I'm going to begin reading for you. As I've done before, I'm going to read the first couple of paragraphs out loud. I'm going to tell you the kinds of things that I'm thinking about while I'm reading these paragraphs. On Riding the House on Mango Street by Sandra Cisneros. When I read that to myself, what does that tell me? That tells me that Sandra Cisneros did what? Did she write something, you think?
Yeah.
What did she write?
A story on Mango Street.
Okay. Let's see how this begins. It's been 10 years since The House on Mango Street was first published. Well, all of a sudden, that's telling me that she's going to probably be talking about something that she wrote. Right? Writing it in graduate school, the spring of 1977 in Iowa City. So, by looking at her name, what nationality would you say? Would you say that she's
Latina.
a Latina? Yeah, it's graduate school. It's after college. It's after you graduate from college, then you go to grad school to get a higher degree. I have a graduate degree, and I'm going to school right now for another graduate degree. Hit return again. Are you Esperanza? What does that mean? Yeah, but I don't understand that at all, do I? I'm going to have to read more about that, aren't I? Because I haven't read enough of this story yet to learn what we're talking about when she asks about Esperanza. I think that might be the last sentence, but hit return again. No, that is. I'm going to put you guys in pairs. Maybe there'll be 2, 4, and I'll have you 3 work together over there. Is that okay? So you 2 will work together, you 2 will work together, and you 3 will work together. And then you guys are going to mimic what I've done, what I've modeled for you, while you're doing your reading for the page and a half until you reach the first pause and reflect. Now, if you're talking about other students, and she's a student, and you want to have some sort of a graphic organizer that would help you to do that, you want to have a graphic organizer that does what? What do they do? If you want to have a graphic organizer where you're going to be looking at all students, what kind of graphic organizer are you going to want?
Venn diagram.
Why do you want a Venn diagram? Because it does what?
Compare.
What?
Compare and contrast.
Very good. Very good. It compares and contrasts. I'm going to pass out all the materials first. Now, what are you going to do first when you see this kind of text?
You're going to read the sidebars.
You're going to read all the embedded aids, aren't you?
Right.
Look at your sidebars, and then what I want you guys to do is I want you to start on page 241, and I want you to read to the bottom of page 243. And look at the questions on the sidebar on 243, the pause and reflect. I want you discussing numbers 1 and 2, and I'll be walking around the classroom to give you any help that you want, but I want you guys talking. I need you guys talking about the text that you're reading, so read to one another. One of you read a paragraph, and the other person read a paragraph. And then talk about the paragraph after each one of you read, okay? I'll show you a short, it's less than a 3-minute clip on Sandra Cisneros' beginning. Why don't you get out of this, minimize it, and play Sandra Cisneros. Let me turn some lights off for you. And I want you guys to watch this, please.
There you go. This is the girl that wrote the story.
Yes, this is a glimpse into, what does it say?
Glimpse into the life of Sandra Cisneros.
Okay.
Sandra Cisneros was born in addition of being an author and poet, Cisneros became a teacher and a counselor for young Chicanos. Moreover, she also became guest speaker in different schools and colleges in California, Michigan, and Texas. Talking about her success in life, her first
Oh, okay. Years later, yeah, remember how she felt as if she was writing that book, but she was still trying to discover her own identity. The following selection
It is from here you can see in Iowa City I was undergoing several changes of identity.
For the first time, I was living alone in the community, very different class of folks from the one where I was raised.
But this was my mind too. This is not to say I had felt this other than before in Chicago. But I hadn't felt it quite as of yet. I mean, way off.
Sure.
Celebrating
Or on your Venn diagram, or if you want the notepads to read before I can pass those out to you, I just didn't do it today.
Historic trivia like braids in a necklace, like beads in a necklace.
Read that part there.
After finish my part, I would discover these novels
Didn't it
later.
occur?
Madeline Brooks.
Then it occurred to me that none of the books in this class or any of my classes in all the years of my education had ever discussed a house like mine.
To be like
About
poetry, but then
what
be
was normal,
like
what was American, what was valuable. I wanted to put school right then and there, but I didn't. Instead, I got angry. I got angry and angry when they used it.
I'm just gonna go right around the U, and we're gonna go over what we've discussed and how you feel about the pause and reflect. Let's look at the pause. Let's go to Jamel and Carlos. What are some of the things that you've come up with? Any questions you have about any of the readings? What do you? Hey, listen up. Come
What does
on.
she mean when she says, what does she mean when she celebrates her otherness as a woman?
What does she mean by when she says she celebrates her otherness as a woman?
She celebrates her differentness.
So she likes to be unique? Is that what she? You think she does, Jamel? You think she likes being unique?
Yeah.
Cause right here, look, we read
She don't
something
wanna
right
be,
here.
she don't want to be the same person as everybody else.
Yeah, Kumar?
No, look, she stated like she pretty much told you she wasn't different when she said, I didn't want to sound like my classmates. I didn't want to keep imitating the writers. I have been reading it. Then she said she asked what could she write that her classmates couldn't do.
What could she write about that her classmates could not? Why couldn't her classmates write about her life? Why couldn't her classmates write about the way they
Because they didn't experience what she experienced when she was a child.
Great, good.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead, Carlos.
What does Sandra mean when she said, "I tell the story of the moment I discovered, and they meet my otherness"? It's probably the same thing. Right?
I can do that. Basically, what she's saying, like, she knew where she came from, so basically she wanted to make something out of it. So she gonna name it a different way, in the way of like making it out of the hood and like being in college. You feel me? That's like one of us. You feel me? When we in the hood, we go to college and stuff. We make it out, and then we live in a different way, and it's like, yeah, you made it out. You feel me? So that's what she mean.
Good.
Like she's celebrating her own.
She's being successful.
Yeah.
In her own way, without copying out to anybody, doing it the way that she wants to do it, which is important, wouldn't you think? It's a good quality. Okay, Darnell, Israel, any questions? Any other questions? You had a good one about memoir.
Mine was, where was her father all her life? What was he doing? You don't say nothing about it.
That's a good question, and I don't really know too much about the father either. I imagine he was there. I imagine he was there, but she most closely connected to
Her
whom?
mother.
Yeah, with her mother. Now, do you know any families where the daughters connect mostly with the mother? You ever had a family?
I'm gonna say like opposite. It seems like the son always connect more with the mother, and the daughter always connect more with the father.
Not in this case, huh? Because she says that in the video that, you know, the mom was the one that gave her the support. Any other questions, Darnell? Israel.
Like, I wrote down what places did she park herself?
Pardon me?
What places did she park herself?
It was saying that she part herself at home, like
From her home, her family, the city.
Yeah, like she at home. She was at home, but she was saying like she departed herself.
To go where?
She said when I recognized the places where I departed from my neighbors, my classmates, my family, my town, my brothers, when I discovered what I knew that no one else in the room knew, and then spoke it in a voice that was the voice I used when I was sitting in the kitchen.
Okay, so what I take from that is that she's remembering how it was when she was in that kitchen being raised, and how she's gone from that. but how that's something, I think what she's trying to say, how that is something that's so important, that has to be relayed, that has to be written about in her book, to let people know the feelings that she had when she, that's how, maybe why she chose to write it as a young girl. Does that make any sense? Okay. You guys have any questions? Kumar, AJ, any comments?
Was the narrator of the story Esperanza, the girl, like, I mean, was the girl, the narrator of the story was, Esperanza, was that Sandra Cisneros, was she like?
She was Esperanza.
She
was Esperanza.
Yeah, was she?
Yeah, she was
She just changed her
Esperanza.
name, like she was an alias.
Okay, now